Well, good afternoon or morning for those of you on the West Coast. Thanks for joining us today for our 18th weekly financial roundtable for schools. Remember, money's not the most important thing in life, but it is like oxygen on the gotta have it scale. And this is an opportunity to discuss matters that either directly or indirectly affect the financial model of schools. Keeping in mind that certainly human capital and some of the things we're going to share today definitely impact profitability. So we got a great guest today. At Qnity, we're here to help you and your students not only earn more money, but do what you love and have a great quality of life, our definition of prosperity. And to move from confusion, complexity, and overwhelm to a more clear path to prosperity, including money matters. We take a simple, visual, and actionable approach. We know time is valuable. Your time is valuable. So thanks for joining us today. We hope you have some light bulb moments and that you connect some new dots. I just love that when that comes up. It just inspires me. Bam. All right. So hopefully NeCole and I will be able to give you some light bulb moments today. Last week, we had Tammy Coakley share some things related with human capital. She shared a service that she engaged in for her team to address mental health related issues as they occur on a very timely basis through an organization she started to work with. And then we also had Kevin Perryman from Paris Parker in Louisiana share the introduction of new services into their business, and inclusion and diversity was a big part of this conversation. So that was last week. They were highlights from a conference we just hosted in Chicago called the 2 to 10 Project, where we had leaders gather from across the US and Canada. Well, Canada, mainly Canada, a couple from Canada. A lot of people from Canada couldn't get out of the country. But anyway, I digress. But it was a great opportunity to share best practices in 5 different functions: operations, education, marketing, human capital, and finance. So conversation starters from all over. And so we did some recaps last week. We will do more of those in the future because they're hugely instructional. Our guest today is NeCole Cumberlander, who was part of our founding call, along with somebody from the someone from the Wella Network, the Aveda Network. So we are brand neutral, and we celebrate NeCole because last week she received a big award and company culture award. So we're going to get to hear about that a little bit, what she does with her leadership team and all of that. So NeCole is a returning guest. Heads up, one thing I just want to share with you is this morning, we did a salon roundtable, and it had to do with transition planning. So you may want to find this recording. Phil was a salon owner that was ready to go, and Josh was a key employee that was ready to grow. After we share some time with NeCole, I'll give you just a very quick sort of executive summary of what we covered this morning, because I think it's hugely instructional, whether you're thinking about a transition plan, when you're thinking about bringing in a key employee, when you're looking at key employee compensation and all of that. There's some major lessons in that. Shout out to our sponsors, Pivot Point, who we have a partnership with as they host the Money by Qnity financial literacy course. It's financial success training. We cover there's multiple modules in this course that address the financial matters, not just financial matters actually, but life matters, because money and life in many cases are intertwined. So we cover not just the basic money matters as it relates to tax, how students are going to make money, student loans, credit rating, all that good stuff that they need to know, but also how to have conversations with members of your family and the company you work with. So money and relationships, money and ethics. So it covers also life skills that are so important for all of us that are passionate about making pro beauty a first choice career, which all of us benefit from. We hope you become a money school. You can go to our website, qnityforschools.com. You can also book a demo there. So certainly check it out. We'd love to work with you. Lightheart Sanders, they're also sponsors of this. Jared Sanders and other partners and members of his team. We shared over many episodes a benchmarking project that Jared and his team was working on. We'll have to have Jared as a guest soon to find out the facts, what the benchmarking results came up with. You should have gotten a 9-grid in your invite. It's one of our visual thinking tools. You can use it to storyboard, create a step-by-step or a mind map to keep notes and to track your light bulb moments. We're going to invite NeCole back into the Brain Trust. She has been in the Brain Trust before. So there's this wonderful picture holding this award. And NeCole, let's get you off mute and let's chat. How are you? We still got you on mute there. There we go.
There you go. I'm great, Tom. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited that you're with us today. It's very fresh. You were holding this fancy little trophy there. Let's give people just the basics that don't know who you are. So you're based in Ohio. You have two schools, one in Columbus, one in Cleveland. About how many students do you have at each school?
Right now we have about 130 in Cleveland and roughly 135, 140 in Columbus.
Gotcha. So about 300 altogether. Yeah, great. And you're partners with your wonderful husband, Orlando.
Yes.
Which I understand is a birthday coming up this week. So
he has a birthday coming up on Friday. So we're going to celebrate that. Yes.
Well, let's celebrate you because you were celebrated. And tell us about this award that you were presented.
Actually, it was presented to Orlando and I both. I just happened to be there to receive it. And it was the leadership and excellence in the area of culture, team culture. And it's an award that we have awards that are given every year in different areas. And ours happened to be in culture. And really what it does, it celebrates your leadership, in your organization, the culture, your team culture, how your team functions. One thing about our network, being in the Paul Mitchell network, we, you have a lot of different vendors, and as in any company, you have a lot of different vendors. And so I'm sure they reach out to the vendors and find out, who they really enjoy working with and talking to. And one thing to my surprise, not surprise, but to my enjoyment, one thing that was consistent with all of the vendors that talked about our team was they really enjoy talking to our team and enjoy when they see our team is on the phone, someone from our team is on the phone, they kind of have a sigh of relief. And I heard that when I went and talked to each one of them, because I like to have some FaceTime when we get together to our vendors. And they all said the same thing. And that was really that was a good feeling. It was always almost kind of like a proud mama moment. How when you hear your people say your children just act so well behaved when they're in public, you're like, oh, thank God. It was kind of that feeling.
Well, you're a parent, and I have met your two children, and I'm sure you have the same, because your children are amazing. Thank you. It's an opportunity to slip in that this extends to your family and how you raise your family, which is cool. So absolutely. Out of all the awards that were presented, and if you could choose, where would this rank? Let's just say, okay, I can go up and I can pick my award. This one's a pretty big one. Yeah.
You know what it is, Tom, and you know me well. So that is pretty close to my heart. I have a servant's heart, particularly when it comes to my team and my family. I really enjoy what I do, but I think it all comes from why we do what we do. We're in the school business. but really we are in the people development business.
Mm.
And why we do what we do is so important. And I think our team, I know our team understands why we're here. We're not just here just to give future professionals, get them a state board license. That's a byproduct of what we do.
So we are team and leadership are like really a very hot topic. I mean, just coming off us doing a leadership conference, us just reading overwhelming research in terms of why people stay and why they leave. And usually it's they leave because they've got a bad, they leave because they got a bad manager or a bad leader, you know? And so this is a very hot topic during what is now being phrased as the Great Resignation. And human capital is a major issue. Finding and keeping talent today, we've never seen anything like. So this is very timely. So you have won an award for culture and leadership. So if I'm out there, if I'm one of the participants on this call, what do you do that makes you so unique? And try to be real specific and tangible about some things that you do that might be lessons for others that really want to even level up what they're already doing so well.
You know what, I think we asked our team this a lot. And one of the things that we hear a lot in our organization, we have a phrase, it's called grace and mercy. And grace and mercy and love, I like to add on to that. But particularly grace and mercy, because it's inevitable. People are going to make mistakes. And when people make mistakes, they can't be afraid to make a mistake, particularly the higher up you are, the bigger the mistakes usually are, you know? So they can't be afraid to make those mistakes, particularly if you're going to entrust people and allow them to do their job and get out of their way. They can't be afraid to make a move, because if they're afraid to make a mistake, that is going to paralyze them in their decision making.
So people can't be afraid to make mistakes. I totally relate with that, and I'm sure many others do. Let's be specific here, okay? So let's say someone makes a mistake, and like you said, they're higher up. And let's pick an example of mistake. And I'm putting you on the spot because, you know, this is all unrehearsed, but how might you treat a mistake compared to maybe someone else might?
Well, I can use a specific example, something that happened a few years ago. This has been several years ago now, but, you know, we had an audit. And, you know, in the school world, everybody knows that's a big thing. Well, long story short, we had a situation where one of our team leaders made a significant mistake, and we had to return quite a bit of money. And she was devastated. I mean, and I know this person well. She's very good at her job. And it was definitely a misunderstanding. And she just didn't, you know, it was a mistake. It was an honest mistake. And she was just mortified. Like, she thought she was going to lose her job. She really did. So, you know, Orlando and I sat her down and, you know, told her we needed to talk about it. And she just bursted into tears. And I'm like, okay, first of all, why are you crying? And she was like, I love my job. I don't want to lose my job. And I was like, okay, time out. Who said you were losing your job? You're not losing your job. She said, I know, but that's a lot of money. I said, no, yeah, it is a lot of money, which is another reason why you're not going to lose your job. This was a really costly mistake. You know, what? We're going to learn from this. Yeah, we're learning from this. So your reaction was her reaction. She was like, oh, thank God. I thought I was going to get fired. I'm like, no, we're getting ready to sit down and write a system on how this does not happen again. So that was like her big, oh my God, you have no idea. I didn't sleep all night. I thought I was going to lose my job. I thought you guys were angry at me. Like, no, we're not angry. I mean, we all learned from this. This was a huge discovery for all of us, you know, and there's a level of accountability that we all have to take on this. So us included. So
So-
let's learn from it so that it doesn't happen again.
So the curious financial part of my brain asks this next question. You don't have to answer. I'm just curious about the magnitude of money. Over 1,000?
Oh yeah, well over 1,000.
Over 5?
Yeah.
Over 10?
We're talking. It was almost $30,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. Yeah. So that's hopefully that you got a return on investment for the lesson from that. So
We did. I mean, she's
Yeah.
better than ever. I mean, she's moved on to, gotten promoted, and I mean, she's amazing. She's brilliant at her job.
So, sometimes people like you that win awards like this, you do things without even realizing you're doing them. And part of my job is to kind of pull them out of you because it's part of your DNA. And sometimes there's just little words that stick. Do you have any phrases that you use in your company that are like so repeatable? Let me give you an example. I've got a client out in Pennsylvania. It's probably not a great example, but it's the only one I can think of right now. And he used to say this thing regarding after hours. He said, don't let your 5 to 9 screw up my 9 to 5, And
Absolutely. I love that.
And, and this guy had like a dozen of these like leader-isms. I'm not going to say his first name, Tom-isms type thing.
We call those Nicky Nuggets.
Okay. So Nicky Nuggets?
Nicky Nuggets.
And why Nicky Nuggets?
My friends and family call me Nicky. So
okay. So give me some Nicky Nuggets.
Nicky Nuggets is when you know better, you do better. That means you get to make a mistake once. That's an accident. Multiple times, it's on purpose because you know better. You just didn't do better. You chose not to do better.
What would be some other Nicky Nuggets you call them? What are some
Nicky
other ones?
Nugget? Oh geez, you put me on the spot.
Well, I put all my guests on the spot.
I know.
Sorry
I
about
wish
that.
my team was here because they could shoot them out. Like they just shoot them out because I say them all the time.
we listen.
Yeah, Jessica's on the call, so Jessica, you can shoot out some Nicky Nuggets. Yeah, right. Help us understand.
Yeah. All right. So help us under Nikki. It's now your job to bail out NeCole because I threw her a curveball. So Jessica, thanks for joining us and throw out some Nicky Nuggets so we can move on and I don't have to have you be thinking. All right.
Well, Orlando, he often says, help me understand. So that means, oh crap, you found something. You don't like it. Now I need to help you understand why I did what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, usually some of Tom's nuggets are a little more blunt, like get to the point. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. So now, so you win this award and you're acknowledged for leadership and culture. And, you talk about grace, mercy, and love. And tell us about turnover. So you've got, so your 2 schools. How many, tell us about your infrastructure, like about how many people work to support the students between instructors and leaders and all that?
We probably, it's gotten pretty lean here lately, particularly in one location, but we're probably at about 10 or 12 at one location and maybe 8 or 9 at the other location.
So 15 to 25 over any period of time.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're not losing people. You lost a couple of people in marketing. One went off to be a stay-at-home mom. The other one took a great job in university. So you're keeping your people.
Yeah, we are, but we still, life still happens, people get married, they move away, they have babies, they decide they want to stay at home. That stuff still happens regardless of how great your culture is. So, you're always still trying to figure out how to make that happy balance to where, particularly in this market, when you can pay more, I literally just got off a call today before this call with our leadership team talking about what do we need to do? How do we increase our salaries? Because everybody's in competition with everybody now. It's not like we used to just be in competition in terms of, getting people getting people from your industry. Now you're getting people from all over that are going after your people. So you have to have some sort of, great benefits package. Your salaries have to be competitive, all of those things. But I think above all, culture and how people are treated, resolve all challenges with love, go in asking, allowing people to make mistakes, being able to have career paths, being able to be able to have a seat at the table. I can't tell you how many people have really appreciated the fact that they're able to have a seat at the table and be able to make suggestions, and we actually listen and build those systems. We have amazing infrastructure and amazing systems, but I mean, I'll be honest, if it was left up to me to do it all, we would not be anywhere near where we are right now. I mean, I attribute that to the amazing team that we have around us, and they know that. And they know they have the ability, they know they have, the power to be able to have, a seat at the table and give suggestions and recommendations, and they're listened to.
So compensation, we were just on a call with a client yesterday on the subject of compensation. Have you come up with any conclusions on, like, for example, one of the things that we recommend with compensation is to, of course, have a fair base, but for leaders, give them the opportunity to make a lot more money if the company has the money, so very much performing. Do you have any leanings when you're looking at compensation these days, or any levers that you're looking at pushing that could be a little bit different?
Right now it's tough because not only are you looking at just the people that are starting with your company, looking at increasing that, but you also have to look at the people that have been with you through the storm. How do you increase those people? Not just with your regular reviews that, your yearly increases, but you got to look at maybe increasing that even more.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, all right. So culture and, keeping members of your team, what are the things that would go into you being the award winner for this? So what else, kind of, do you think is the reason why you were recognized?
I think because people love what they do. We have a saying, love what you do, love who you do it with, and love who you do it for. Mm-hmm. And I think those boxes are checked on all three of those different levels. I love working with our team. Mm-hmm. I think getting out of their way and allowing them to really be able to do their jobs without me looking over their shoulder, or Orlando looking over their shoulder and micromanaging them. I think that's huge. Bringing smarter people to the table than you are. I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room when my team is at the table. And I love that because everybody is an expert in their area. I think as owners, we have to understand that we don't have to be the smartest person in the room. Like if I'm the smartest person in the room in financial aid, we're all in trouble. So, having somebody that's brilliant in that area and us allowing them to shine in that area, I think gives them the competence that they need to be able to move forward and keep us brilliant. And I'm good at leadership. I know that. So that's where I shine. She's good in financial aid. She knows that. That's where she shines. So everybody gets an opportunity to shine.
What I have found with great leaders is they know when to push and when to pull.
Absolutely.
And grace and mercy and love, sometimes a little bit of sass and a little audacity and a little bit of, this is what I need. Do you hear me loud and clear type thing,
Absolutely.
Pardon the language. But would you agree that leadership and one of your strengths is that you know when to push and when to pull? Pull is like pull them along, encourage them. You know, how you handled that person that made that $30,000 mistake. So that's a time to pull. And then, but how do you know when to turn on the edge?
Well, you know what? You know your team and you know when they're not at 100%. So I think part of that is going in asking,
Mhm.
you know when they're on their A game and when they're not. When they're on their A game, you encourage, and you encourage in public. You really, you give them all the praise and all of that they deserve. But when they're off, I mean, we're all human. Nobody's perfect, and we're going to have our off days. And sometimes it's a season of being off.
Mm.
You got to pull them aside in private, and you really got to kind of drill down and get to the bottom of it. It's like, okay, what's going on? This is not you. I know you're better than this. What's happening? What's going on? And have some empathy and listen. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with the job. Sometimes it's a personal thing that they're going through. And you have to allow people to allow them to get through life sometimes. And sometimes, like I said, there's a small season that they're getting through that, and find out, how can I support you in that?
Right. Yeah.
So I think pushing, that's sometimes where the pushing is, but I think figuring out if that's the right time to push. If it's the job, is it personal? What's actually really going on? And I think that's just part of knowing your team.
Yeah. Well, this is very, very timely and inspirational, I think. And
Thank you.
Finding talent today and keeping talent, I think we're all bracing ourselves, because when the central theme in the labor force starts to move to something called the Great Resignation, wow. I mean, Great Resignation. I mean, people resigning from their companies at record pace.
Yeah.
It's just competing for talent, and finding, and certainly we're seeing it in the salon side. Finding. I know you also own a salon. You know how hard it is to find staff.
Absolutely.
So to me, any nuggets that our listeners can have today to give them an edge. So any other final words from you as you look at your peers on this that joined us today?
Yeah, you know what? It's real simple. I wish I had some more like huge words of wisdom, but it's very simple. I mean, it's really how I was raised. It's treat people the way you want to be treated. We treat our team with respect and dignity, not because I'm their boss, but because they're human beings. And that's how I want them to treat me. And so that's how I treat them. I don't talk to them crazy, and I don't allow them to talk to me crazy or do anything crazy to me, because I'm a human being, not because I'm their boss. And, take those roles out of the picture, because they're really kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Let's just treat each other like human beings. That we're all in this together. We win together, we lose together. When we make goal, we celebrate together. When we don't make goal and we're in the deficit, we dig down and roll up our sleeves together. But at the end of the day, we're all together, we're family, and we're gonna make this happen. And I think people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And once they know how much you care, and they're really a part of your team. I mean, there's really nothing that they won't do. And I've seen that time and time again. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of a team like that. So when it came time for Orlando and I to build our own team, we felt that was a very, very important part of growing our organization. And those are just some of our core values that that's just what we live by. Like you said, that's how we do in our business. And that's how we built our family, on those same principles.
Awesome share.
Thank you.
Awesome share. Let's give NeCole a virtual round of applause. Give her a little shout out in the chat. We're going to award you another $1 million light bulb. See, there's your $1 million.
Yay.
There's your million. Okay.
Thank you.
And you know, I know that you're a classic example of someone where money's not the most important thing, you know, and it's not for any of us. You know, you're such a people person, and at the end of the day, we're in the human capital business, you know, and that's why I always get inspired spending time with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, I've got a couple different things. You got some nice shout outs there you should read. Let me share with you a few other things today. So I want to do just a quick summary because me personally, I have multiple roles. We own a couple companies, you know, schools. We also work with salons. And then I also do some transition planning. It's a certain percentage of my time, whatever. And I get a lot of questions about bringing in partners or transitioning to a key employee or selling your business or whatever. And so this morning we had the opportunity to have Phil Shipman join us. Phil was ready to go. He actually thought about closing the doors of his business. Which meant people would lose their jobs, the community would lose a small business, client would lose their favorite salon, vendors lose a great partner, he'd close the door on his legacy, and he'd lose his financial reward. And whether it's a salon or it's a school, the same principles apply when it comes to transition-related planning. So keep in mind that one person's go is another's grow. So Phil had a key employee by the name of Josh, and Josh was ready to grow. So it moved from option one to, you know, close to keeping it open. And Phil got to execute a successful transition. Everybody kept their jobs, community kept a great business. Josh is a fresh leader with new hopes. There's new energy, there's new vitality. It's another generation that's able to build upon what Phil already created, second generation. Some of the best businesses that we work with are second generation businesses. Some of the market leaders, some of the best known names in the industry are second generation owners. And that second generation of which Josh is can bring great vitality. Clients get to keep their favorite salon, vendors keep key client. Phil gets to see his legacy live on, and then he gets compensation for his hard work. And, you know, when someone, and you know, by the way, I'm not encouraging any of you to sell your business. I'm encouraging you to just learn as much as you can about what a transition would look like at the right time and in the right way. Regarding this last point, I like to say when somebody executes a successful transition, they get paid twice for their business. They've been paid throughout the years as an owner, and then they get paid again for the success of the business when they transition. So Josh went from being an entrepreneur, key employee, to an entrepreneur. And this morning, we really explored that journey in detail. I love this text, and this is the text I got from Phil when they signed the purchase agreement last July. And, you know, sometimes people get burned out in human capital. Not everybody's a NeCole that just loves people and loves the human capital part of the business. Some get burned out. And, you know, in the case of Phil, he really relished the opportunity to not be a boss anymore. But the thing about Phil is he had a lot of stories going on in his head, and he really didn't know where to start in any of that. So I definitely encourage you to give this morning's roundtable we do with salons a listen. Michelle can put in the portal how to find that. The other thing is Phil's given back. He's given back to Beauty Changes Lives to help really make the professional beauty industry a first choice career. And so it's really a great story. And I wanted to mention that to you. In the future, if this is an area of interest for you, we can have some guests on here with transition planning. Today, we wanted to focus on NeCole, but I did want to make mention that if this is an interest of yours, you should listen to the recording. So anyway, we'll wrap up today. I'm going to shout out a few people on the call, but yeah, become a money school. And you can go to qnityforschools.com. You can book a demo. We hope we had some light bulb moments today. NeCole always gives a great share. couple quotes to end with. The reason many don't achieve their goals is because the final result is not clear in their head. And then the other one is that knowing is not enough, we must apply, and being willing is not enough, we must do. So some of the things that NeCole shared today that relates with her ability to really have this kind of culture where people want to stay, they love what they do. It starts at the top. So great session today. Let me see if there's any questions out here. You've got some love shout outs there, some thank yous. And let me see if there's anything else I have for you guys today. And we've got Andrew, we've got Amanda, we got Janet, Christine, Dawn, Diane, Jamie, Jared, Jessica, Londa, Mark, Roxanne, and several others. So let's wrap up, guys. We'll be on next week. NeCole, thanks again for joining us, and the rest of you, we hope you have a prosperous rest of the week and next week and future. So take care. Thanks again. Bye.